Welcome to Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
I tell you, man, this music is just so groovy, you know? It's groovy.
It's awesome.
Is the word groovy?
They still use Jordan.
Well,
has never
Jordan,
even heard. He's never even heard that.
He's a Gen Z. Does the word groovy still work, Jordan? No?
He thinks groovy is something that has grooves.
At a disco.
At a disco.
He started at disco.
You're killing me. All right, well, welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappola. My good friend and co-host John Mallory is in the house. Jordon Gilroy is joining us right now from Leland's. Hold on, wait a second. It's Collectors First Auction Group. Is that the name of the company now, or?
That's like the behind the scenes kind of name. Everything is still Leland's as far as, contracts and things are concerned. But yeah. I think for their legal purposes and stuff, the father group or something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy. By the way, Joe Tomasulo from Goldin Auctions is going to be joining us in about 5 minutes. Joe's going to be with us for the rest of the hour. All right, so Jordan, right out of the gate, is your role going to change with the company?
Not yet. It hasn't yet, and it's been maybe like a month or so since this change came, and nothing has changed, which is good.
So both companies are going to really, for now, run as separate entities, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, Clean Sweep has its, niche, and Leland's has its niche, and they do well on their own. And so far, there have been, no changes. Been a very smooth transition. Well, it's not really a transition
at all, right?
Yeah. So
JM.
I don't think there's a plan to do, a big conglomerate kind of deal.
Right. Jordan, when you guys do this merger, and it's a huge merger, and we're happy because it's two, great, not only great companies, but great people that are involved with it. As you guys look ahead to 2025 now, as we're nearing the end of 2024, do the goals, the objectives, the planning for next year change? Is everything on hold, or are you both kind of doing your own thing, and then with the merger, you'll also merge ideas?
The second part there. I mean, Leland's the same, and I'm sure Clean Sweep will operate the same. So I'm sure there will be parts, we feed into them, they feed into us to a certain degree, but I don't expect any crazy big changes. I think, the Leland's way, we've been doing the same thing I've been here for 9 years, and before I was here, it seems like it was the same operation.
Right.
Pretty much stayed the same size to a certain degree, and haven't really, the biggest changes we made are probably adding an auction or two per year, but I can't see it, ramping up to 10 auctions and becoming like a factory kind of deal. I think we'll keep our, the motto, the Leland's motto.
It has to really be exciting for you from your end of things as well. I mean, it's new. It's going to be something new, something different, but that, you're partnering up with a really good group over there. So.
Yeah, new is nice, fresh, and, an extra source of life, and we'll to mix it up every once in a while.
We had, a couple of weeks ago, we had both Steve and Hef on for the entire hour.
Yeah.
Jam, were you on with me or Rico?
I was. No, I think I was on with you.
Because when you're on with me, it's like you're not being there anyway. So, I mean, we had Steve.
I was with you for that.
And Hef on, and they did a great job. And it looked as though, there was a little chemistry there, which is good. Steve seems to basically clearly understand, Jordan, that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think that's pretty much the case with Leland's. You guys, you've been around for 1,000 years. Josh was Josh, he was with us on the very first show and was a regular every other week for about a year and a half, and he was just awesome. So what about Hef? Hef is going to stay aboard for at least a while, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could ever give this up completely. He comes into the office and still works. It's just, he's been doing it so long and has a family and wants to, I guess focus his time on this, but maybe just not as much and focus on other things more, which makes complete sense after doing this, running a company for 40 years. At some point, you are going to want to, dial it back.
Let's bring in Big Joe right now. We were going to hold off, but we love Joe. There's no sense in Joe waiting in the green room watching us. Joseph, how are you, buddy?
Actually, it's the dining room, but that's okay.
Joe, listen, you were with Memory Lane, you're with Goldin now, Hef, Jordon, the gang from Leland's. Friendly competitors for years and years and years. You and Hef, I know, are good friends. What are your thoughts on the merger?
I have to piggyback off what you guys were talking about, Tom. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, Leland's is a classic auction house. It's one of the earliest, and Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, the earliest. Didn't it predate Mastro?
I mean, if Josh were here, he would say yes. I wasn't doing this all the way, but the way he talked.
But bottom line is, it was Leland's and Mastro back in the day. Leland's has gone through, decades of changes and, within the hobby, and it's come out on top. It produces a great catalog, great auctions. I know Steve well. He's a good friend of mine. I can't see major change.
It's interesting.
I just don't see it.
And Joe, what you're saying, and Jordan, what you're saying, at the very beginning, I can remember, I couldn't wait to get the Mastro catalog in the mail and the Leland's catalog in the mail. Those were the two go-to catalogs back then, and they were just great. They really were. Hey, Jordan, you've got a big winter auction coming when? January, February? When is your winter auction?
Yeah, one of those 2 months, just as quick as we can get the catalog up and running and get the stuff in there. Catalog is, your time the office takes great care of that and makes it nice and smooth. I don't have much of a hand in it, but as quick as we could get it up, it'll be up.
Good for you. Good for you. And I know that you've got some great stuff that you guys have already accumulated. How did you do in Wilmington? Did you guys pick up some good consignments?
Yeah, we have roots there. So, I mean, people know that we're coming there and drop things off and sell stuff, and always on the prowl, though, and waiting for like a huge random item to come in. And this was a good show. So,
good.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I was telling you, Joe knows this. We talked about it yesterday off the air, and it's public knowledge now. I don't know if you know this, Jordan, but Jimmy Ryan and Brian Coppola, who run the Long Island show up on Hofstra, they sold their businesses yesterday to the gentleman that runs the Altman show in Boston. Plus, I can't remember his name, but it seems as though all the big shows are starting to consolidate. Did you know? Were you aware of that?
No, I mean, I knew of the Altman one. The guys came up to our booth at one of the last couple nationals. I'm sure if I went on Instagram now or in the next couple hours,
it's all over the place. Yeah, it is. It's really it's all over the place. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, all right. So I know you have a meeting. We're going to let you go. So your auction is going to be sometime January, February. It's your big winter blockbuster auction. Oh, by the way, man, there was a rumor circulating that you guys have a really cool Willie Mays exhibit card. Is it a Willie Mays? There's a rumor circulating that you guys have one. I just thought I'd ask the question because, if you're in line for one, Mallory, you may want to go to their auction to just check it out.
This is yours, isn't it?
Nepotism.
I never
This
said
is yours,
that.
isn't it?
I never said that.
There's absolutely no credibility on this program. You cannot use the show to promote your own cards.
It just came out of my mouth. All right, Jordan, man, say hi to half.
John, what Tom's not saying is there was just a find in Maine. 400 signed Maze exhibits that'll be circulating throughout the hub.
All right, Jordan, man, we love you, and we'll talk to you down the road.
All right.
Take care. Have a good meeting.
Thanks, Jordan.
Take care. Jordon Gilroy from Leland's a good kid. Really, really good kid. He gets it. He understands what we're all about. Joe T., how are you doing, brother?
Good, Tom. How are you?
You know, Joe, I know without getting into politics, I know this has been a hell of a good week for you. That's all I'm going to say. Fair enough?
You call them as you see them, right, Tom?
That's absolutely correct, Joe. Absolutely correct.
And I don't see you crying in no.
I'm not. Hey, Joe, I guess the first congratulations on your first auction with Goldin, and it went really, really well. We paid close attention to it. Were you happy with the results?
Yeah, I mean, the Bryce Williams set went for almost $1.2 million. You know, we were hoping for 900,000, maybe $1 million. The signed Sports King Root, here comes a little more nepotism.
Oh, man.
Sold for nearly $500,000.
Oh, my God, I got a headache. I have a freaking headache. Joe, all kidding aside, congratulations. That was your card. Congratulations.
Yeah, we set a lot of records. Our Napoleon Lajoie Gowdy set a record for the grade. I mean, I could just go on and on.
Wait a minute, didn't you have a Matheson?
Yes, the Christy Matheson True Rookie card.
Yeah.
Was issued January 31st, 1903.
That went for $400,000, right?
390,000. No cabinet, Sporting Life cabinet, Cobb, Wagner, anybody has sold for that much money.
Wow.
So it was a huge success.
Good for you.
And now we're gearing up for the next vintage one, which will start second, third week in January and end in February.
Joe, Jay, I'm just going to be, I need to ask Joe one more question regarding consignments. For your auction, I mean, obviously, Ken Goldin saw something in Joe Tomasulo, one of the experts in the vintage, probably the foremost expert in the vintage field over the years.
He found out you were my best friend, Tom. That was the deal.
But all kidding aside, Joe, did a lot of consigners, like old consigners, consign to you, or were they all Goldin customers, or a little mishmash of everything?
It's always a mishmash. My friends call me with stuff, my close hobby friends, and I'm here to help them. You know, whether I work for Memory Lane or Goldin or Heritage or REA, if people call you with stuff, you're going to bring it in.
JM?
Yeah. It's two-parter here, Joe, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while being on the show. How has it been for you personally, the transition, working for a new company? I know you've been in the business a long time. There are a few guys with more knowledge than you. Talk about that, and then I want to segue right into your thoughts on Shohei Ohtani, his items, where he is in the hobby, and what he's going to be, 10, 15, 20 years down the line.
Well, it's business as usual, John, with regard to the auction house.
Yep.
You have to get adapted to new systems.
Yep.
New types of, developing contracts. But at the end of the day, I'm doing large write-ups like I did for my other jobs, Goodwin and Company, Memory Lane. I get consignments. I work from home. I do card shows. So it all falls under the same umbrella.
Right.
And with a little every other Friday, my bank routing number may show a little more lucrative amount. That
Oh
doesn't
my
hurt.
God!
That doesn't hurt.
No, it does not.
You know,
No, it
with
does
all
not.
due respect, Tomasulo,
What?
you know, I'm gonna be honest here. All right.
I made John laugh.
Well,
I mean, come on.
last week, John, I want your opinion on this.
Sure.
Last week, Joe was down here for the Greater Boston Sports Collectibles Show in Wilmington.
Right. Yep.
And under the goodness of my heart and the heart of my company, ATS Communications, along with my beautiful wife, Ellen, we invited Joe Tomasulo and Brian Drent out to dinner at a very nice Italian restaurant. Very nice Italian.
It was excellent.
Thank you.
It was really good.
And then the next day, we went to La Conti's in Methuen, nice
Great place.
Italian subs, and we brought them to them. Now, what did you think that with the revenue stream that Tomasulo had in following the sale of his Babe Ruth card, that he would have sprung for dinner? Not only for me, but for everybody in the restaurant.
No, I'm on Joe's side in this. He's coming to your place. He's coming to Boston. You need to take care of Joe. Look at the quality talk he's bringing to this program right now. If not for him, I'd be saddled with you for the next hour. I'm on Joe's side.
John, thank you. And this is a total, like, without mentioning names, some news stations, political news stations. This is a total distortment of the facts.
It's fake news. It's fake news. Joe.
Tom has been bragging about treating
You're right.
us for dinner for months.
Right.
This has been ongoing for months.
Right.
And I was not going to insult Tom by stepping in to help him.
Well, you know what the
Listen,
first
Joe.
goddamn question he asked the waitress was? He didn't even look at the menu. All he asked was, what is the most expensive thing on the menu? That's what he asked.
Joe, how do you think I feel? I wasn't even invited to dinner or the show. All right. So
That's a good point. Very good point. Joe.
Tom, you owe John a sandwich.
I do. Hey, listen, before we take a break, Joe, you have there's another auction that ends next week, right? It's called the Goldin 100. What is that about?
Yeah, it ends. It's Goldin 100 Part 1, first 50 lots. The second 50 will be in 2025. We got some great items in that auction.
I mean, you got a game-used Russell, Jordan, and Chamberlain. You
Start
got
with the Russell. That was photo matched to Game 7 of the 66 finals.
Are you serious?
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go for well over $1 million. We have a Mickey Mantle rookie Bowman in an SGC Mint 9.
Wow.
And the last PSA 9 sold for $3.2 million.
Then I'm looking here. It said you also have a PSA 10 Flair set with the Jordan,
Yep.
and the Jordan is going to be a separate lot.
Yeah, the Jordan right now with the buyer's premium is at roughly $170,000. The set's at $130,000. So, and another amazing piece, Tom, President's Book with signed documents of the first 28 presidents, letters or official presidential documents, accumulated from Washington through Woodrow Wilson.
See, that's the stuff that I love. I love that stuff, man. Yeah.
Especially in lieu of we just got through a presidential election.
Exactly.
I think the timing is
Yeah,
great.
no, it's great.
Joe, do you get into the non-sports stuff at all? A lot in what you do, or
Personally, John,
Yeah.
I mean for Goldin, no. Strictly
but your own
sports.
collection?
No, for your
own
personal
that-
collection,
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah,
Yeah, I love Lincoln.
yeah.
Personally, I think Lincoln is the greatest man that ever walked the face of the earth. I do.
Wow.
Barring Christ. So, but seriously, I always felt Lincoln had God in his heart,
Yeah.
and what he did, almost no other president would have done. They would have just told, "You go your way, we'll stay our way."
So with that being said, Joe, do you have any Lincoln memorabilia?
I have a beautiful signed Lincoln presidential document.
That's cool.
And I have a George Washington one too.
Very cool. Very cool.
Wow.
Some great pictures of Lincoln too. He was amazing.
You know, I love, JM knows this. I think, Joe, you may too. In another life, in my former, way back life, I was a history teacher. And history has American history has always been close to my heart. And I tell you, for our viewers and listeners who are out there, if you're ever in Boston and you really want a seriously legitimate, great take, walk the Freedom Trail.
Absolutely.
Boston. It's just an amazing historical walk. You do it yourself. There's a little red line
It's like that wide,
goes through all the streets of Boston. You walk, and it's just a great take. It really
and
is.
It's something that we take for granted, actually, Zap, here. We do.
I mean, you go to, we've been to the old North churches in the North End, and we've been there 1,000 times. You walk by it. But you walk into the North Church, and it's like, wow. Wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really kind of a cool take. Very cool take. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Joe T is in the house. We got a lot to talk about, Joe. I want to talk about Soto. I want your thoughts.
You mean the guy we're going to lose?
I want to talk about Soto because the Red Sox seem to really be making a play for him, and I don't get it.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think they need him.
Why don't?
They don't need
Listen,
him.
There's no such thing of a team that doesn't need Juan Soto.
100% right.
That's crazy. I mean, the guy is absolutely spectacular, and he's got nerves of steel.
But for the money, we'll talk about it. But for the money that they have to pay him, Joe, I think they can go in about 20 different ways.
Can you imagine
and
Soto
finish fourth again? Right.
You know what's frightening thought as a Yankee fan? Soto and Devers batting back to back. That's two guys. Then Cole will walk intentionally.
Joe, it would be like bringing back Manny and Ortiz. That 1-2 that they had for those years. Unbelievable. One of the best 1-2 punches ever, by the way, in baseball.
All right, let's take a break. Joe T is in the house. We'll be right back with a Gax blast from the past. Hang in there. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Let's go! Batter up!
Hi, everyone. This is Rico Petrocelli. JustCollect.com, a leader in the vintage sports card industry, is giving free appraisals on your vintage cards. They'll evaluate your collection for free and let you know the value of it at no cost and no obligation. If you're ready to sell, JustCollect.com will offer you industry-leading prices to buy your card collection. To begin your free baseball card appraisal, JustCollect.com or call them at 732-828-2261. That's JustCollect.com for your free vintage card appraisals and top buy prices for your cards. Check out JustCollect.com today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. And before we get into our Gax Blast from the past, Joe, I need to tell you something that's very, very important. Nobody, I repeat, nobody makes better broccoli Rabe than me. All right? I'm just telling you right now, it's my grandmother's Sicilian recipe. Nobody makes sausage and Rabe better than me. Just telling you.
Do you do the sweet sausage or spicy?
I do sweet, sometimes spicy, sometimes Ellen doesn't like it hot, so I do sweet when I make it. But the key is, Joe, the key is you throw the sausage into the skillet with the Rabe for about 5 or 6 minutes at the end. You want to get the juices of the Rabe into the sausage also.
Tom, I got to tell you, you sound like Clemenza in The Godfather.
I'm just telling you.
Remember, you're shoving all your sausages and meatballs.
I'm just telling you, that's the way you, and for you non-Italians that want to cook sausage and Rabe, the worst thing you can do is you don't cook the sausage on the grill. Do not cook the sausage on the grill. That's the only time you don't cook sausage on the grill. You cook it in the skillet with extra virgin olive oil and then toss it in with the Rabe.
Where did this come from? Did Joe say he makes the best?
No, last week at the restaurant, Joe ordered
okay.
sausage and Rabe, and he raved about it, said the best he ever had. And it wasn't. I mean, it is for him, but I got to cook it for you, Joe. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I'm waiting for the invite.
It is time for a Gax Blast from the Past, brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and PB Collectibles, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to find that special card or piece of memorabilia. Now, Joe, you're not going to be able to see this right now. You'll see it when it is, as you know, but you'll be able to hear it. You know, we were talking last week or the week before about Pedro Martinez's greatest performance, JM, All-Star game.
99
All-Star game when he was Who was it? He struck out McGuire. Who else?
McGuire,
Sosa and some.
Larry Walker. The kid was the kid from Houston. We had Bagwell, wasn't it? Bagwell,
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Well, there is another performance that I think was even better. And this happened way, way, way back in 1934, the 1934 All-Star Game. And this is when Carl Hubble, in the All-Star Game, struck out 5 consecutive batters. Here's a little interview with Carl Hubble.
Carl Hubble's great moment came in the 1934 All-Star Game at his home park, New York's Polo Grounds. He was up against a murderous lineup and opposed by future Hall of Famer Lefty Gomez. And Hubble started off shaky.
First time I ever led off in the All-Star Game, and I got a base hit. And I think Heine Manouche came up second and got a walk.
Now that's Charlie
That brought
Gehringer.
to the plate a succession of the American League's most feared hitters of the day. Babe Ruth was up next, but Hubble was ready with his famous screwball.
What I was trying to do was to strike Ruth out. He's the only one I was really trying to strike out, because if I can strike him out, and then Gehrig, if I can keep that ball down low, the breaking ball down low, get him to hit the ball on the ground, I got a chance for a double play, and I can get out of the inning.
Carl Hubble, the great National League southpaw, the Giants in the box. Strike three, he's out.
With his screwball as baffling as ever, Hubble followed by striking out Lou Gehrig. A double steal went for naught because he ended the inning by fanning Jimmy Fox. But Hubble wasn't through. On his way to striking out 5 future Hall of Famers all in a row, he took the mound the next inning and got Al Simmons. Then came the moment. Hubble threw, and Joe Cronin became victim number 5.
They were the great ones in the American League, and I'd say it's almost a miracle when you can do that.
The miracle moment of the Giants' King Carl Hubble.
You know, that for some reason, guys, I mean, that performance has always kind of stayed under the radar. But it was one hell of a performance, Joe, right? What do you think?
Incredible. And what's funny about that, Tom, Hubble was a screwball artist. So he created movement down and away to a righty.
Right.
Which isn't the best thing for lefties.
Yeah.
Facing lefties. Of course, that pitch is coming down and in to a lefty, which is right in their wheelhouse.
Right.
Yet he made Ruth and Gehrig look sick.
I mean, and the other thing is that, you know, and to your point, Joe, is that I'm sure he could throw a good fastball, but that wasn't his go-to pitch. So he wasn't blowing the ball by those guys. He was a thinking man's pitcher, a lot like Maddox, you know, in that way. And even in the interview, you saw, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to do low and away. I mean, he was always a couple steps ahead of the hitter. He was a smart pitcher.
He threw mostly screwballs. And the funny thing is, John, I think post-career, you know how when you walk, your arms lay palms to the legs?
Yeah.
His left arm turned in when he walked. The back of his hand faced his leg.
Wow.
Yes.
I never knew that.
Naturally contorted because of turning that arm.
Joe, let me
listen. I saw something about that, Joe. You're right. Yeah,
Joe, you're a pitching instructor, Joe. The screwball. Let's talk about the screwball for a minute. So, is the screwball called another pitch today, or did they just not use it?
No. It's actually called a screwball, and you know Mathewson threw it, and then it was called a fadeaway.
How about today? How about today's pitches?
Today it's called a screwball, Tom.
And nobody, I mean, very few pitchers throw it, correct?
Very few. The recently deceased, very sad, Fernando Valenzuela threw it. Remember Mike Marshall, the great Dodger reliever?
Sure.
Yeah.
He threw a screwball. Basically, you're literally turning your arm all your thumb all the way down.
I think Oil Can Boyd threw the screwball.
Did he really?
Too. I think he was one of the last
Not
Red
a
Sox
lot,
guys
John.
to throw it on a regular basis.
He toyed
too.
with it.
Yeah. Hey, both you guys, since you guys are vintage aficionados, Hubble's cards. We don't hear a lot about them on the shows.
Good point.
Are they scarce? What is?
That's crazy because I'll tell you what.
On the market.
And Joe, you know something? His Diamond Star. That's a beautiful card.
All Diamond Stars.
I know, but that Hubble is. I have that Hubble card. I bought that card 25 years ago, and I have it framed in my office. Just that card because I just think it's such a wonderful, beautiful card. Hubble cards, there's no love there.
No, there isn't. Very underrated. Speaking of Diamond Stars, Tom, what a shame. No Babe Ruth or Lou Gehrig Diamond Stars.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons, not one of the reasons, that's the reason that set has always not gotten a lot of love either. And it's beautiful, the artwork is beautiful in that set.
Right. Lefty Grove and Jimmy Fox are the two headliners.
Well, isn't there a nap?
No, you're thinking of the Gowdy Lajoie.
That's right. I'm sorry. You're
Gowdy,
right.
yes.
Yeah, you're right.
Which was issued in 34 because people complained they didn't include it in 33, which they didn't. So people would have to keep on buying packs to try and finish the set.
Joe.
Guys,
go ahead.
Both you guys again. I just want you guys mentioned the Christy Mathewson, the rookie that you guys had, Joe. I want you to talk about him as well in the market because his name comes up and there's almost like a mythical quality to Mathewson.
Yeah,
in the hobby.
He was the first Babe Ruth, him and Harness Wagner at the turn of the century. The beginning of the 20th century. Mathewson was nicknamed the Christian Gentleman. Okay. He was the hero of all young kids. Definitely one of the top 5 pitchers of all time. Won 20 or more games, 13 seasons. Won 30 or more 4 seasons.
Nuts.
Had a lifetime 2.13 ERA.
Wow.
I mean,
which is lower,
crazy.
Which is 0.04 lower than Walter Johnson, who was 2.17.
Joe, I have a piece of Christine Mathewson memorabilia, and that is by far my prized piece. I just
it'll be in my safe, Tom, in 5 years.
Right now, it's in my safe. I looked for that. That piece for several years. But I couldn't afford it at the time.
And who pushed you to buy that?
You did, and I appreciate it. I have
in Memory Lane.
I did. It was a Memory Lane auction. It's the Pitching in the Pinch, which is the first edition first edition book written by Christy Mathewson, 1915, first edition, and it's one of a handful signed by Christy Mathewson.
No way.
Oh, refresh my memory. Didn't he date that too?
Yes, he did.
See, I love. Very rarely do you get the date.
Yeah, he did date it. Yeah, so that's in my safe. I've only taken that thing out twice to show family members. It's in there, and that's my prize piece that'll never leave me unless I make a bad investment in the stock market or something. But it's a great piece, Joe, and you did. Yeah. I have to thank you for that one. You steered me into that piece, which was great. Yeah. Now I want to follow up though. We talk about Christy Mathewson. We talk about Kyle Hubble. What are your thoughts on Paul Skeens?
Unlimited potential. But here we go again. Here's another guy who throws upper 90s, 100.
Yep.
Very young, hard thrower out of high school, college. How long will the arm hold up?
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with today's pitches versus when we grew up. These guys are throwing 100 plus miles an hour. Yeah. In college, some in high school are throwing 98 to 100. And the arm wasn't built to throw that hard.
Yeah, all right. So, but let's stay on that point for a minute, Joe, because Now let's go back. Let's go back 40 years ago. Let's go back to Sam McDowell. Not Sam McDowell. He threw hard. But let's go back to Dean Chance or any one of those pitchers.
Jim Maloney.
Good, perfect example. Could those pitchers then? I mean, those pitchers. Those guys weren't. They were not consistently throwing 95 to 100. There's no way, no how.
Yes, they were.
Well, yeah, but the average pitcher back then, though, Joe, was not. Average pitcher.
Jim Maloney threw as hard as anyone in
Okay,
Major
but
League
here's my
Baseball.
point. My point is that back then, the average pitcher did not throw that hard. My question to you then is: today's pitchers can, those pitchers couldn't. Could those pitchers throw today against today's hitters?
Why not? If you're spotting up mid 90s, you could be spotting up high 80s, low 90s. There are three facets to a pitch: movement, velocity, and location. Most significant thing is location. Second thing is movement. The least important is velocity. Now, if you can make a ball move to a spot with velocity, you're Paul Skeens and you make $20-30 million a year.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Makes
But
sense.
isn't it really, guys, and Joe, as a pitching instructor, isn't it really about having an arsenal? Like you look at a guy like Pedro Martinez who could throw the ball hard. Now he was a slight dude too. He was not a big dude like Skeens, but at the height of his powers, his curveball.
Yeah, but that's because of the size of his fingers. His fingers were as
Yeah,
long
but
as my
still,
leg.
What I'm saying is he didn't have to throw his fastball every time.
No.
And his changeup was better than his curveball.
Right, exactly.
Pedro Martinez changeup.
Exactly.
Paul O'Neill and Tom, even though you're a frustrated Red Sox fan, I know Paul O'Neill, you have a great respect for him.
Great player.
As a great hitter.
Yeah.
Used to say trying to hit Pedro Martinez changeup off his fastball is like trying to eat soup with a fork.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It comes at you with the same hip speed, arm speed, and the ball just stops at
Well,
the
you know,
end zone.
before we take a break, you know who a throwback pitcher was that threw BBs at the beginning, then his arm got a little, his arm went a little bit, and he became a really good pitcher, placement pitcher, was Frank Tanana. Didn't that happen to him?
I can't even believe you said that, because I was just about to bring up Frank Tanana.
Right?
Yes.
I literally was just about to bring him up.
You know, guys,
unbelievable.
Now that you mentioned
Chemistry,
Tanana,
baby.
Tom,
It's chemistry. Go ahead.
see if do you guys remember the game? Tanana was beating the Yankees at Yankee Stadium 7 or 8-0. I can't remember if it was 7 or 8. Regardless, 2 outs, nobody on in the bottom of the ninth. The Yankees scored 7 or 8 runs and won the game.
I don't remember that one.
It's the most amazing comeback in a game in baseball.
I loved
history.
him.
Wow.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We got another segment. Joe T is in the house, Joe Tomasulo. Joe, I want to talk about, you have another auction coming up in mid-January, and then we want to wrap it up because I want to talk about Yaz and some of the Red Sox greats. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a 2-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you are a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
So we asked the question, how does your company or organization do promotions? Imprinted Products keeps your brand in front of your customers more than any other form of advertising. For the best on-time service and new ideas for your next project, give Petroselli Marketing Group a call at 603-880-3202 or email info@petrosellimkt.com.
Hey, JM, why don't you tell our viewers and listeners about our friend Joe Drellick and the Philly Show?
I'll do just that, Zap. East Coast Sports Marketing is pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, December 13th to Sunday, December 15th, held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center Halls, A and B, 100 Station Ave, Oaks, PA. Shop over 300 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 140,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven, from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in free. Autographed guests to include Dr. J, Julia Serving, Allen Iverson, Tim Raines, Bartolo Colon, 11 members of the Broad Street Bullies Stanley Cup champion teams, two-time Super Bowl champ LaShawn McCoy, and many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started.
All right, now I've got to ask you a question, JM.
Yeah.
Did you get my email?
Just now?
No,
Or?
like an hour before the show.
Yeah.
What did it say?
I switched them out.
It's the same thing. That's the one I wrote. Did he write the same thing?
I read the one you sent me after the last one. Is that wrong?
No, that's the right one.
What did he change?
I thought he changed it. Evidently, he must love my writing.
Well, that's not possible. So there must be a mistake.
Well,
no, I can tell you this is the new one because the last one didn't have Bartolo Colon.
Okay. So
he might have added in Bartolo Colon.
He added Bartolo Cologne in?
Which sounds like a fragrance for men.
Exactly.
But anyway. Yeah.
All right, listen, Joe T is in the house, Joe Tomasulo. And by the way, folks, if you don't want to watch us, I know we're all handsome guys, but if you want to just listen to us, you can go to Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, any of your favorite podcast platforms to listen to us. If you're driving in the car, you're going through McDonald's drive-through, you can pop on the Great American Collectibles Show. All you have to do is ask the question, and you can listen to us.
Unbelievable.
Right? All right, Joe. Obviously, you don't have any kind of an affinity for the Boston Red Sox. That's number one. So with that being said, Joe, I'm going to tell you this right now. Your Yankees are in big trouble. And I'm going to tell you why. Because your guy, Judge, is going to be 33 years old. Your guy, Stanton, is 35, almost as old as you. And they don't have a hell of a lot coming up in the minors. You guys...
And they're not going to sign Soto.
And you guys are screwed.
They're not going to sign Soto.
Now, on the other hand, why don't you talk about JM, since you are a resident Red Sox expert. Let's talk about some of the young Red Sox players coming up, JM.
Well, they have a lot of great players coming up, but what's disturbing right now to me, Zap, honestly, is I'm hearing that Tyler O'Neill might be gone, that the Mets are going to make a play for Duran.
No, listen, if O'Neill, I want O'Neill to be gone.
I don't want him to be gone.
I'll tell you why.
Why do you want him to be gone?
Because they're going to sign the kid from the Dodgers. What's his name? What's the kid's name from the Dodgers?
Listen, I'm going to give you credit.
The kid that wants to play for the Red Sox.
I'm going to give you credit, and then I'm going to show you the flaws in your argument. Last year, before the season started,
all right. Go ahead,
you said that the Red Sox are going to be better than everyone thinks they are.
And they were.
And okay.
They were.
You were right about that.
Thank you.
Are we what are we now? The Kansas City Royals?
No.
I mean, who are we now? The Milwaukee Brewers? The reason why you're wrong about your assessment of the Yankees, who, by the way, were in the World Series last year.
I understand that.
Is that they are still out there acting like a big market team. They're developing talent, but they're also spending money to fill in those holes. So I'll take a 33-year-old Judge or a 35-year-old O'Neill over the scrubs we have any day of the week.
All right. I'm going to tell you why your theory is a little flawed. Regarding O'Neill, the Red Sox are going to sign Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh, Teoscar Hernandez.
They're going to sign him. I will take him over O'Neill any day of the week.
I take him over Tyler O'Neill?
Yes.
Yeah, I take him over Tyler O'Neill, but they're not going to sign him.
They are going to sign him.
They're not going to sign him.
He wants to come to the Red Sox.
I don't care. They're not going to pay him.
Well, I think they will.
They're not going to pay him.
Joe, your thoughts?
First and foremost,
Joe,
Tom,
you do need a new manager. You need a new manager.
I have never been an Aaron Boone fan.
I know you haven't.
I'm glad you threw that out there, because here are my thoughts. I've been watching baseball since 1971. Aaron Boone bringing in Nestor Cortez in the ninth inning in game one could potentially be the stupidest, most irresponsible move I've ever seen a major league manager make. Now, so let's bring him in with the Game 1 World Series on the line. No pressure. He's got a which is not tough on lefties.
Joe's so angry he's breaking the internet.
Right. So, and he's got the kid Hill who drops down to 3 o'clock sidearm like Randy Johnson, who's brutal on lefties.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking, but if you look at it, he gift wrapped with a big red Christmas bow, game number 1.
Yep.
And then, the Yankees looked like an 8-year-old Little League World Series team in game number 5.
That was disgraceful.
Top of the fifth
That was disgraceful. So
listen, it's not Aaron Boone's fault that Aaron Judge completely choked. Aside for in this world, it's not his fault.
But John, he set the tone.
Absolutely.
I agree.
He
100%.
set the tone.
100%.
So here's my prediction. My prediction is the Yankees come in 3rd place next year. Red Sox come in 2nd place, and Baltimore wins it. That's next year. My prediction.
Right. Aaron Boone should go out and have a cup of coffee and cheesecake with Pete Carroll from the Seahawks, whatever. Carroll can talk about first down and goal at the 1, throwing the ball over the middle, and then Boone could talk about.
It's fun. You guys are like reading my mind today, because the worst up until the Pete Carroll is still the worst coaching move I've ever seen. But before that, we can go right back to the Red Sox leaving Pedro in. Game 7, 2003.
I don't agree with you at all. I do not.
And let me take you one better. God rest his soul. He was a great guy. He topped it off by bringing in a knuckleball.
That was the mistake
in
he made.
Wakefield, where one thing doesn't flutter and a guy can hit it out. Those are the 2 worst coaching moves I've ever seen.
JM, that was Boone that hit it. But JM, I totally 100% agree with you with the Wakefield move. Should have never happened. I disagree with the Pedro move.
Dude, we had a great bullpen that year.
I know that.
Embry was they were all waiting.
Now,
Pedro sucked after 100 pitches. We know
John,
that. Okay.
Normally, John, I would side with you. But here's the one thing, and I think this is where Tom is most likely coming from. Would you rather have a bullpen specialist, at 100%? Or maybe a slightly tired Pedro at 80%.
And it was his best season, John. He had a hell of a year.
Great. So it's very difficult to take such a great pitcher. And
I agree with
all due respect, he knocked the bat out of Posada's hands. That was an absolute sunk hit. I mean, that was just, that ball had 1,000 eyes. It was a little blooper. He did get the best of Posada in that at bat.
If you watch the Netflix special, I don't know if you watched it, JM.
I did.
I genuinely felt sorry for Grady Little.
Not one bit.
When they were interviewing him,
not one bit.
Because he was not a bad manager.
Listen, I'm not a big analytics guy, but the stat showed, as wonderful as Pedro was, fantastic. top 3 Red Sox pitcher of all time, okay? But after 100 pitches, he was vulnerable. And the bullpen was really good. They were really good that year. It was the same group of guys that won the next year.
I know.
Okay?
He should not have brought in Wakefield. That was a mistake.
And John, I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
You make a great point. I just think with the Pedro thing, there's a slight argument.
I hear you.
On the other side.
I hear you.
With Nestor Cortez, there is no argument. I mean, you're not talking about Sandy Koufax here. Oh my God, I just can't.
All right, Joe. Before we end this discussion, your next.
Tom, you set me up. You knew I was going to go into that.
I have never seen veins pop out of the side of your neck. I've never seen that.
Oh my God.
Listen, your next vintage auction is going to be sometime in mid-January. I know that you already have some highlights included an 1893 signed Cy Young rookie era cabinet card, a Babe Ruth rookie card, and what is this newly discovered Ruth shoulderless card? What is that all about, Joe?
So in the early 1920s, and it may be anonymous, I forget the manufacturer's name, if there is one, issued a set of prominent American figures, including ball players, actors, actresses, etc., etc.
Yeah.
There were a handful of baseball players known. My friend Jeff owns the only Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
There's a Tris speaker. But there was no Babe Ruth known. They found in a recent discovery 2 Babe Ruths were unearthed.
Why can't I find stuff like that?
No kidding.
You know, Ellen
Because you're too busy advocating for the Red Sox.
Can I tell you something? Ellen and I, we were in Maine this past weekend, and we stayed in a beautiful hotel for a couple of days just to get away. And we were along Route 1 that goes from Kittery, Maine, up to Biddeford. And that's the antique mecca of Maine. We hit every antique shop, and I said to Ellen, we have one goal here, to find one treasure, vintage treasure.
Right.
You know what I found? I found nothing. Zero. Absolutely zilch.
You've been doing this for years?
For years. For years. We do it every year. I can't find one vintage piece in these old antique shops. So I'm looking in the wrong place. I'm looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people thinking like you, John. Tom, remember that.
I know that. All right, listen, we're just about out of time. Joe, you know what you mean to us. We have a blast when you come on. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna email Kenny Goldin. I'm gonna say, Kenny, we want Joe on more often. You got plenty of money. We want him on more often. Fair enough?
Tom, one more time. How do you make that, Rob, Tom?
Okay, do we have 1 minute? Yes, we have 1 minute. Here's how you do it, Joe, okay? You take a pan, like a pasta pan, and you put about 6 inches of water in it. Hi, Marianne. How are you, honey?
Hi.
Then
I'm going to listen because I make it. I want to hear how you do it.
What you do is you take the stems, but you don't cut a tremendous amount off the stems. You cut about 3 inches off the stems, so you want to leave the stems on. You put extra virgin olive oil in the water, salt, pepper, a little Italian seasoning like oregano, and squeeze a little lemon in there, just a little lemon. And you throw your Rabe in there, and then you add about 2 or 3 garlic cloves. You let it boil. Don't let it simmer or steam. Let it boil. You got to let it boil so it gets soft. Then in another pan, you very, very, very simply, Joe, what the hell are you doing? In another pan, you throw your sausage in with extra virgin olive oil, let it cook, right? And then at the last minute, you throw the take the Rabe into the saute pan with the sausage. But make sure you throw some water in there and let it simmer for another 5 or 6 minutes. The sausage flavor gets into the Rabe, and the Rabe flavor gets into the sausage. It's the best food you can have. Just it's great. That's all I'm saying. That's how you have to make it.
So you put the Rabe in the skillet, right in the water.
Absolutely, with water. Don't over
Yes.
it, but you have to throw it in with some water so that
Yes.
it kind of simmers. That's huge, huge.
Yeah, because I usually steam it. I steam it. Like I cut the mature stems off the bottom. I steam it. I take them, then I put it in the skillet with the olive oil, the garlic, the crushed red pepper.
The key is though, it can't be too. It's got to be really, really, so you can just not have to chew on it. You know what I mean? You don't want
Right, it's got to be soft. That's why you boil it.
All right.
That's why you boil it.
Okay.
For our viewers and listeners, Mrs. Joe Tomasulo, Marianne, is on camera with us, and we appreciate it. If anybody wants that recipe, you can message me. With that being
Tom,
said,
when do we get the invite to the house?
you will. With that being said, Joe, thank you so much.
Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath.
JM, take care.
Bye, John.
A crazy show today, but we love you guys. Happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.